Welcome back to Awful Stories. I'm Michael, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe for daily videos. The first was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a user named Hershey Kiss. The post is titled, "My boyfriend laughed at my proposal. My 25F boyfriend, 23M, and I have been together for 5 years. I love him so much. It was a nice fall day yesterday, and we went out on a lovely trail ride. Then we went for a swim. There's a lake close to our place. We went out for dinner, then went on a nice evening hike. We were in this beautiful clearing. I've been thinking of proposing for a while now, and I figured that we were in the perfect spot. So I pulled out the ring, got down on one knee, and asked him to marry me. He looked at me for a second and then started laughing. I honestly didn't know what to think, but then he got down on one knee in front of me, pulled out a ring, and said I was going to ask the same question. I thought that was hilarious. We both had the same plan. We put the rings on each other's fingers, then we kissed and hugged. We hugged for a while, and honestly, thinking back on it, the day seems perfect. Now we're engaged. I woke up this morning feeling so happy. We told everyone about it today, and my parents were so excited. His family was excited too. User Puck the Fae said, had me in the first half, not going to lie. Congratulations to you two, very sweet. Kimber said, I was about to be angry on your behalf. Now I'm feeling really warm, happy fuzzies. The second story for today was also made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a user named Mammoth County. The post is titled, I sent my boy to school happy. He came home in an urn. My boy died. Yes, he was emotional, he was sensitive, but those are not crimes. I just need to get my thoughts off my chest. The sadness is forever suffocating, especially at night, especially when the world is silent and asleep, especially during festivals when people are happy and yet despair chews my heart away. My family was happy, now it is broken. The siblings lost a dear brother too. They cried for months. On July 29th, 2024, I said my last goodbye to my boy. He went off to school and went through some fact-finding disciplinary process. He had supposedly hidden a friend's belonging in the garden. God knows why. His own belongings had been taken and hidden before. Previously, he was pushed down the stairs and came home bleeding and bruised. He was singled out in a conference room, questioned by teachers, searched, and asked to write a statement, with no parents or counselor present. He cried 3 times that day. He did not pull through emotionally. He took his life after school, falling 16 stories down just 13 minutes after dismissal. Covered in blood, organs ruptured, 14 fractures, he cried in pain. He lay silent in the arms of a passerby pastor who turned him over after calling an ambulance. He was declared dead an hour later in the hospital. I had cooked lunch for him. He was late. The hospital called. The school called. We rushed down. Dead. Discipline is important, but tears are important too. He was only 11 years old. He deserved to live, to be understood more deeply. Emotional distress consumed him, too young to properly cope. His teachers told us he appeared fine after his crying episode stopped. Cameras captured him crossing a traffic junction. His face was very sad. How I wish we had been told earlier when he was singled out from class. How I wish we had been told earlier when he cried. How I wish he had been seen by a counselor. How I wish we had been told to come to school and fetch him home safely. We could have supported everything better. How I wish that when we post suggestions for better emotional care in schools to teacher communities, we are not blamed, that my dead child is not blamed or judged in death. It is not about blame. I simply hope to advocate for the sensitive ones so that my boy's life is not lost in vain. Teachers are overloaded, we understand, but emotional care is important too. How I wish this were all a dream that I could wake up from. That he would return one day, happy and smiling. We still had so many years together unspent. We were supposed to go pet shopping after school. Instead, we went to the morgue and cremation. So many nights I dream of him alive, only to wake up to a deep, sinking feeling in my heart, the realization that it was all a dream. Why can't the world be kinder, more compassionate, have more empathy for sensitive kids like him? He had good conduct through the years, excelled in science and mathematics, helped his friends, took care of his siblings, and was well loved by his classmates. Introverted and sensitive, yes, but he wasn't a bad child at all. And yet, all that is left of our child now are his ashes in his bedroom, his soft toys on his bed, and his memorial blog. It's unfair. So unfair. The world continues. I can only stand still and cry. Nothing can bring him back. I can only blame myself. I should have raised a more hard-hearted child instead of the soft soul he was. He was normally so calm. No one saw it coming. I wrote this post to help relieve the pain, even if just a little for a little while. At least he is heard in death. Thank you all for helping me through this difficult journey, even though we are thousands of miles apart. But really, there is no point in blame. The child is gone. Flaming and doxing are pointless. I can only pray that parents, schools, and society can improve and do better for the next child. Reading OP's story, I can't help but feel absolutely crushed. The pain in every sentence is just raw, and it's impossible not to be moved by the gravity of what happened. What truly gets me is how vulnerable children are, how much they depend on adults, teachers, counselors, and parents not just to protect them physically, but to truly listen and recognize when they're suffering emotionally. It's devastating to know that when OP's son needed someone to fight for him, to comfort and defend him, he instead faced suspicion, search, and isolation. I feel furious at the system that failed him, not out of a desire to blame individuals, but because this kind of tragedy is preventable. Schools and communities have to do more than offer lip service to mental health. They have to step up and actually create environments where kids feel safe, understood, and cared for. The emotional neglect here is a painful reminder that being seen is not just about noticing a child's presence, but recognizing their suffering and responding with true compassion. OP's grief is overwhelming, and it's a feeling that no parent or family should ever have to carry. It's hard to even know what to say when loss cuts this deep, but I wish OP and their family endless strength. If any good can come out of unimaginable pain, I hope it's a wake-up call for every adult to advocate harder, listen better, and push for real transformative change. Sending every ounce of empathy and solidarity I have for OP, sometimes I'm praying for you is all you can say when words fall short. Blee the Cheese said, I have been a high school teacher for decades and very little shocks me anymore, but the way your son was treated by his teachers and the administration is shocking, hurtful, and despicable. Normally, I would suggest filing a complaint with the principal, and if that didn't resolve the issue, I would escalate it to the superintendent. However, there is nothing anyone in the school district can do to remedy this now. The damage is done and it's permanent. Your son died and I'm so terribly sorry about that. I suggest that you consult an attorney to discuss filing a lawsuit against the school district and perhaps the teachers and administrators involved in the harsh and inappropriate treatment of your son. Write down every single detail that you can remember, including dates and times. Be as specific as possible. Keep all correspondence from the school and take screenshots of any texts or emails. Also, take screenshots showing the dates and times of phone calls the school made to you about this situation. You can contact the state bar in your state for attorney recommendations. You may want to meet with several attorneys to hear what they recommend and choose the one best suited for your situation. I'll finish by saying that I have exclusively taught juniors and seniors in high school for the past 20 years. And I would never chastise or humiliate a child the way your child was chastised and humiliated. Treating an 11-year-old child this way is horrific and inexcusable. My heart breaks for you. This third and final story was made in the Confession subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, I've been lying to my parents for 3 years about going to college. I've been lying to my parents for 3 years saying that I was doing online community college. Once I graduated from high school, I wanted to find a job, but my mom told me, no, you need to go to college. So I applied, did the whole process, chose my classes, and waited until they started. Once my classes began, for some reason, I just didn't go to them. I really don't know why. This continued for 3 years. And do you want to know what I was doing all that time? Absolutely nothing. I was just being a failure of a son, waking up every day doing nothing while my parents worked hard. The reason I'm sharing this with you all is because I'm going to tell my mom early tomorrow. Well, I guess today, since it just hit midnight. I feel like a huge failure, and I'm afraid there's a chance I'll get kicked out of the house and won't have the opportunity to make this right. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I just needed to get this off my chest. Thank you for reading. Update. I made a comment earlier, but I'll just edit the post for anyone who wants an update. Hey everyone, so I told them early in the morning, around 7 or 8. My dad was actually really kind. He tried to comfort me and basically told me that yes, I messed up really badly, but I have to start working to fix my mistakes. I really appreciate him for not being angry with me, even though he had every reason to be. My mom was very upset and angry. And of course, who wouldn't be? I wish I could summarize what she said, but I'm genuinely bad at writing it down. What hurt the most was realizing how much pain I caused her. I feel so bad for breaking her trust and lying so much. After the conversation, they went out to run some errands. I stayed home, and I won't lie, I was crying really hard, blaming myself for being so useless and for failing everyone. But after calming down, I told myself to straighten up and stop feeling sorry for myself. If I want to regain my mom's trust and love, I have to work hard. 10 minutes later, I actually went to work at my cousin's farm to start taking steps toward bettering myself and changing my life. I also asked my friends and family if they knew anyone who was hiring. I'm really grateful for all their help. I've also been looking for jobs nearby, like at Home Depot, since it's pretty close. I know this is a small step, but I promise my family, especially my mother, and I guess all of you, that I will be better. I have to be. I know this is a small update, but I'll let you all know what happens. Again, I can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate all of you sharing your stories, advice, and support. Thank you. Of course, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. Goose, the pigeon, said, have you been paying for college classes, or did you just stop signing up after the first semester? To this, OP replied with, I signed up and paid for my first semester, but after a year, I canceled everything and just kept lying to my parents whenever they asked me how college was going. Amy said, whenever you mess up or do something you know is wrong, be prepared with a plan to fix it. Don't just show up to tell your parents that you lied. Have a plan for how you're going to make things right and share it with them. It could be that you're looking for a job or planning to start college next semester. Whatever you want to do with your life, make a plan for your next steps now and start working on them. To this, OP said, for sure. I genuinely want to find a job so I can actually go out and do something, instead of just staying in the house doing nothing. Luckily, I have great friends who are willing to help, and I can't thank them enough.